Is it still hot where you're at?
Yeah, it's wicked hot. Oh, you know what? I should turn off this dehumidifier. That's not making it any less hot.
I don't hear anything.
I do. It's driving me crazy. The PlayStation's running. You know that. Come on. That's right there.
So loud. So loud.
Oh, back on the air. Yeah.
I looked what is it? You ever get those moments where you like look in the mirror and you're like, man, I'm old. Or man, I'm getting older. And like you spot something, you're like, oh shit, this changed. Or this or you know what I mean? You notice the change or the difference. You get one of those like, holy shit.
I mean, usually I'm too busy yelling at myself in the mirror. This is all your fault.
It's all your fault. Oh no.
Hey, Brandon, thanks for jumping on. Adam, DJ, Brett, Dan, the biggest fans, thanks for jumping on. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Mainly, it's like the grays extra.
Yeah.
I have one in my mustache, and I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah. So was it a few days ago? I was, I got out of the shower and I'm quaffing and doing what's going on, Team Pandori? And I look up in the mirror and I'm like, what is that? And I realize that I now have permanent scowl lines, permanent wrinkle lines on my forehead.
Oh, I mean, first one?
First one, right? First one. So I thought that was interesting. I was like, oh man. Like, and then I was like trying to like move my face in a way to like stretch it out. Now they're permanently there now. And I've got like actual like lines there. Like permanently in my forehead. That's so weird.
Yeah, the permascout.
Permascout.
I noticed that like my resting face has just become a like frown. Like I just like if I don't think about it, I'm just like go ask your doctor and Botox. Oh, come on.
Yeah, no.
Jumping on, go ask your doctor.
I can't even imagine. Like I feel my skin as it gets older, right? And it feels like it's getting like there's like thinner spots. Like it feels not as like the elastic, the elasticity of it is gone. Also, the wife was looking at it, she goes, what's all that? And she noticed, she's like, you've got all these bruises all over your body. And I'm like, oh man, am I getting to that old phase where you like bump a wall and then you just got like a giant bruise on the side of your arm?
You don't heal as fast. And
you don't. You're right.
Much faster. Like I'm like, didn't I get that cut like a week ago?
Why is it not done yet? Freaking old man Logan over here, freaking losing my healing.
When did TMG become sponsored by skincare? Come on, MLM. Come on. But seriously, my Huns out there. Wait, are you drinking the black cherry polar seltzer water? Is that what you're having? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's the best flavor. Everybody, go get that seltzer water.
Wait until you hit your 40s and the skull starts showing through and you have to put your soul in.
All right, on that note, roll the credits.
Let's roll these credits. Oh, man. I did, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Let's roll the brand here. Welcome to Mid-Geek Crisis, episode 183. We are back after a couple weeks, and Pedro is back after multiple weeks. He's alive and well.
I like to call it a 2-week forced vacation. How's that?
It was he needed some time in the sarcophagus, had to heal, that sort of thing.
Every 100 years, I must return to the land of
the Odin sleep. Oh man, I'm getting really bad when I drink beer. To be honest, used to be able to knock a few back, but now no one gets me really. Oh yeah, no, totally. One or two, like I'll drink Like I think I'll have a young day, and I'll like really try to put them down. Like it's hot, and I'm drinking a few beers, and the next day I'm just like, not even really a hangover, just more like the alcohol's processing, and it's not really like drunk, more so like just body aches.
Did I leave?
Yeah.
I'm with you there. Totally. It's yeah. I mean, I haven't had the pager sleep. Yes, I haven't had booze in a while, so I don't remember. But I do remember it catching up to me much quicker than it used to. Right?
Yeah,
3 or 4 days. Dan, I'm actually cleaning, so the D&D table is folded up and put away right over there, and I'll be setting that up later. Right.
Yeah, he was asking me earlier on the show when he put it down. He was like, "Does it look bigger?" I'm like, "Man, that space looks huge. I don't."
It's like bigger, yeah.
I could fit like
20 by 18.
I could fit like 10 arcade machines in there.
or 25 not finished arcade machines.
There you go. That's the way. That's proper terminology there.
It's all about the projects.
Hey, Team Pandora, that you're here real quick. I wanted to ask you something. So, everyone, go check him out. Go check Team Pandora on YouTube. He's been cranking out the content as of late, and his newest video, he's been talking about. If everyone's familiar with the little mini consoles, right? Like the mini Genesis, the NES Classic, or whatever. Well, Sega last year put out a little mini arcade machine, the little Astro Cab. And it was kind of like a Japan exclusive / it was released in the US through small retailers. But so it's just a mini arcade machine, right? So like it had Virtual Fighter on it, and a couple other games on it. It was really cool release. Very similar to like this one right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sega just released their new one. It's their Astro City V, as they call it. And it's basically one of these, but with a vertical screen for a lot of the little vertical shooters.
Oh, okay.
And I've been reading the controversy online that it's bad. Like it's pretty bad. Like the input lag on it is terrible. Like you hit the buttons, and Team Pandora put up a little video where he just kind of did slow motion and showed. I mean, he's hitting the button, and it's like multiple frames of like hit it, and it would just like move.
Oh my gosh!
Just bad, just bad. We've had a ton of people calling us liars. It's been a heavy weekend. Yeah, no, I don't blame you, but you're not the only one. There was tons of people online, controversy-wise, talking about it. And I saw your recent post that you had you decided to return it. You returned it. You're like, I'm not keeping it. So
that's got to be a big step for people, like when you collect these sort of things, right? Like
yeah, right. Like you
returning a devices.
It's putting your. I mean, I don't know how Sega would get the money off that, right? Like you bought it and then you return it, so the retailer has to. But I mean, the idea is that Sega in general, like they're not very big anymore. Like they don't put out tons of consoles, but they have been kind of milking this like mini console craze.
The nostalgia craze, sure.
The nostalgia craze, right? And so they put out like a mini Genesis a few years back now, and then they put out the mini Astro, and then they announced the new mini Genesis 2 that's coming out this fall, and then they had this one that just got released. So like they're pumping these out, but they're almost Japan exclusive because they've got such a small market, and their market share here in the US is like, if it's not Sonic, it doesn't really sell. So, but I mean, so we actually recorded 34%, but yeah, check the timeline of DaVinci and how many frames. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, go check them out. I mean, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I thought it was interesting to see like a piece of hardware just completely just fall flat on his face. I just couldn't get it. And I thought what was interesting about it is he's playing a game that's been released on other mini consoles, the same game, and you can definitely tell the input lag. Like it's one of the vertical shooters, and it's just and some of those games are twitchy shooters, right? They're like a little spaceship, like Raven.
Sure, nothing more frustrating than playing a bullet hell game and there's lag.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, just wanted to touch base on that and show support there. So go check them out on YouTube. So we have missed a lot in the past 2 weeks. We missed all the talk on San Diego Comic-Con, but at the same time we didn't, right? Like it's just
I've had my fill, I guess. I don't know. So I know there's like 14 new Star Wars films coming out, right?
Absolutely.
And like 700 different Marvel films, even though I didn't really like Doctor Strange, so I don't know what's happening next. Okay, Doctor Strange was okay. I just don't know what's going on. I haven't kept up on the Marvel shows. Like I just don't know what's going on. There's so many nerd things going on.
Oh, lots of nerd things. Before the show starts, I want to just go ahead and acknowledge this because this is important. This is a geek history and in general, just something that we need to acknowledge. And Nichelle Nichols passed away over the weekend, and Lieutenant Uhura is in the stars now. And man, what a
is only Shatner left at this point from the main bridge crew?
Well,
and Takei, right? George
Yeah.
Takei and Shatner.
and Takei, yeah. There's not many left from the original crew.
Yeah. Oh man, I hope we didn't break the news for you, team. But yeah, it's a real bummer. Rest in power, Nichelle Nichols. She was both very kind to the fans and also very like forward speaking and telling stories. Oh, and Chekhov is still around. I didn't realize that. What's his real name? I didn't realize he was still around. So I have a memory of him passing away. I shouldn't think that way. I know the new one did, right? I didn't realize the old one was still around. The original.
The one from the new
Walter Koenig. That's it. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Walter, yeah.
Thank you. So, I mean, did you watch the original Star Trek on television? Did you catch it later? Were you a big fan?
I mean, obviously, I wasn't around for the initial run, but yeah, I used to catch it all the time.
Not the initial run, but it was.
Yeah, I used to catch it all the time on syndication. Yeah, absolutely. And back in the day, there was no internet to like fact check anything. You didn't know how many episodes there really were, so you just watched it when you could. And there was no. It was almost like Alien of the Week / Adventure of the Week. So it was the time where continuity wasn't really a thing and effects were different, but it was groundbreaking for sure.
It was like reading short stories, right? Like famous sort of little sci-fi stories and vignettes.
It's almost like little sci-fi Reader Digest episodes, just like
So is it still on syndication, Brandon? I haven't had regular TV in 10,000 years. So is it still on?
I'm sure it is.
It's on from the 60s to the 90s, right?
I mean, I know, for example, I don't know if anyone here has plugged in an over-the-air antenna in their local market.
Can you even do that anymore?
You can. I mean, if for local, you pop in your digital antenna. It's an antenna, and your digital receiver will pick up a bunch of the local stations. And almost every major city has like these, like nostalgia TV where it's just 70s and 80s sitcoms playing on loop.
Like Nick at Night or something like that.
Right. But just and I know here in the Dallas Plain area we've got one, and they play everything from like Knight Rider to Star Trek to like the Fall Guy to MASH.
Is there any Airwolf?
Yeah, Airwolf. As a matter of fact, Airwolf was on. I mean, I haven't watched it recently, but occasionally I'll flip the TV over to the antenna.
Heroes and Icons. There is a local HD channel. There you go, Brandon. So it's still out there. That's amazing to me. That there's
there we go.
Yeah,
exactly. So I mean, it hasn't left. I mean, obviously, I can only imagine what the market for that is like. I don't even know if the younger audience would plug in an antenna to watch that, right? But I know that maybe some of the older generation still has an antenna around and they plug in I don't know. It's weird. It's almost like finding an old website and like an old forum, and you're like, oh wow, this is still going. Like who's paying?
Who hangs out in this space?
How many people? Who's what? Like it's like an old CD bar or something. It's like got that old jukebox just playing on loop.
Dan says my dad watches Gunsmoke every day when he eats lunch, which I want to say I think my dad did every day 50 years ago when he was eating lunch, right? It's amazing. Star Trek is incredibly hokey, but truthfully on par with pretty much every other TV show they air. Yes, it was pretty hokey, but it was groundbreaking in that it had sort of a racially diverse cast. They had lines. They did all sorts of cool storylines. The fact that people complain that Star Trek is woke, it's always been, right? It's
always been woke
as can be.
Even Shatner didn't know. I think Shatner said was like, when did it become woke? Or what did he say? He's quoted saying like, when did Star Trek become so political? And everyone's like, what show were you on, dude? Like, of course it was.
And, it's only telling that the captain of the show, who's got the most privilege, doesn't realize everything going around him on the show, right? So there's that as well, right? So I have fond memories of watching it with my dad. Like he would come home and watch it after work with us, and we would enjoy it and then go to sleep. Usually it was like bedtime. I have fond memories of that as well. Shatner made the argument that it wasn't political, but it always addressed social issues. That is an interesting distinction, and one that that's probably been written around a lot. It's interesting that social issues can be separated from the politic, but all right. As a political science major, everything looks like a nail to me, right? I am a hammer.
They can't be. That's so spoken like a true
someone who wants to vote Republican but not feel bad about it, right? That's what that gets to me. I'm gonna keep voting Republican, but I won't feel bad about it because that's a social issue, right?
Oh, God.
Team Pandora says I still dream of going into outer space and finding aliens. Yeah, dude, like
yeah, right. Shatner's just known for like going deep into space and having sex with all of it. Like I just cannot. Like, oh man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Shatner's pretty out of touch. So yeah, I know. I mean, yeah.
How did we start talking about Shatner? We were saying goodbye to Nichelle Nichols, right? Like
Nichelle Nichols. I mean, she's so great that she has to. We're gonna make sure that out of the greatness of the show, she was amazing, and we have to bring up all the BS that Shatner.
Yeah, he was amazing.
He's the most unliked person on the cast, right?
There were so many pictures of her with people at Star Trek cons and her big smile and dealing with the fans, and that's something that's like speaks volumes to me that she was that way with the fans.
Yeah, no, she went to all the cons. She was always there. She never shied away from an appearance. I mean, there's all sorts of interviews and quotes from her. You know, she'd wanted to quit the show multiple times, and she was like she was pretty much one of the first like representation matters kind of thing. Everyone was telling her like you got to be out there. You got to have, a person of color in space to show that, things will get better and we will be in the stars in the future, and that's amazing. She seemed like an amazing lady and a huge ambassador, not only for sorry, but for absolutely.
And she lived to 89, which is good for her, right? Her later years are really sad. There are lots of drama, financial issues, family and friends, but
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, Stan Lee too, right? They all go through this.
Yeah, they all go through it.
It's a real bummer when they get that far. And yeah, MLK Jr. said, I think the story goes that Nichelle Nichols was told she's going to meet one of her biggest fans, and it turned out to be Martin Luther King. And of course, they're both touched by that moment. And Whoopi Goldberg, right? Whoopi Goldberg says she was watching TV and she saw Nichelle Nichols play that character on Star Trek, and she wasn't a maid, and that was an inspiration for Whoopi Goldberg. It's pretty awesome, and so thank you, Nichelle. Thank you for Star Trek. Thank you for everything. She inspired literal astronauts. Yeah, literal people who went up into space. So, yeah.
So let's stick on the Star Trek. We'll ride this wave. We're gonna start on Star Trek and go down the highway here. And of course, Comic-Con just happened. It happened last week, and we weren't around last week to talk about it. We're gonna kind of wrap up a little bit of at least some of the things that I enjoyed.
The highest points you remember, but not every point. Right?
Yeah, not every point. And one of them was this. I'm really late to this, right? So like, only until this past, late winter, early spring did I hop on the lower decks. Watching
when you were scraping the bottom of the sci-fi barrel.
Yeah, scraping. I was like, I wanted something lighthearted, right? I was looking for something that was maybe sci-fi, something funny. I like things that make fun of themselves.
Yep.
Very often, and Lower Decks was suggested, and I was like, let me try it out, and I loved it. It makes fun of everything that is Star Trek. It's not vulgar and stupid like Family Guy or anything like that, but which is funny because the Orville is actually a really good show. And
it started as a parody of Star Trek, and they wound up being a pretty good Star Trek.
Yeah, right.
I feel like you fooled everyone there.
That's right. So, anywho, the new trailer for season 3 of Lower Decks was shown here. So let's.
Get to Starfleet. Prepare yourself for Warp 10 excitement. Discover the undiscovered countries.
The USS Cerritos remains impounded while their captain stands trial.
Have you lost your mind?
Captain Carol Freeman stands.
I can't believe this.
Cisco's Creole
Kitchen.
Kitchen.
I'm taking it to the limit.
Did you time your entrance to say that?
What? No.
Oh, yeah, she did. Starfleet isn't all about being fed fruit by erotic aliens with slightly different nose ridges. I could get real used to this kind of treatment. Sometimes you gotta get your hands dirty. It's on.
This is an unauthorized launch.
So begins the greatest adventure of your life. Yeah!
which is great. I love it.
These broken rocks are reading our nightmares, but I don't like my nightmares. The hole!
So magical. There's going to be times when you need to make a mess of things before you can fix them. Like how I'm going to have to cut this guy's foot off so we can grow him a new one.
Wait, what was that?
Whatever happens.
Oh God, making fun of.
And this together.
Let's go!
My head.
Or Starfleet! Hell yeah!
Those dolphins in uniform?
Yeah, because there's dolphin crew members.
I can't believe we're at Deep Space Nine.
Wait, just buy me some time. Sir, how do we do that?
I don't know. Just circle around and pretend we're in awe of the pylons. Just keep circling.
That looks great. Yeah, Team Bender, go check it out. Season 1 and 2 are
That
online.
music was a really good touch. That was an excellent touch. Actually.
Yeah, I know you're in Japan. I don't know what the rights are for that. I mean, VPN it and hop on some.
There are no laws on the seas.
Well, yes, but in Japan there are huge piracy laws, and so oh man, they don't play. They'll come after you. They'll like kick your door down, and you're like, what's going on here? Like, there's stories of like people selling like kit bashed Gundams, and like the police will freaking show up and like take you to court. No, it's like no joke. Like Japan is like a little more intense when it comes down to like the Nintendo ninjas are real for sure. Right.
I think about the 10 million Akira bootlegs that we all had going around.
Right. Like bootlegging anime and all that kind of stuff is like, I mean, I'm not saying it's not done, right? I'm just saying like it's a lot more underground than it needs to be. Like it's a lot more intenser. So they protect their own copyrights a little more vicious.
So Brandon says that's like Rick and Morty meets Star Trek. Yes, the animation style and the irreverence is definitely Rick and Morty, but it's still Star Trek, right? So
it's still Star Trek. Like it makes fun of itself in a very retrospective way. Like it looks back at the past. It talks about like the old episodes of the original series. What's so funny is they constantly say, they'll reference like the Kirk days, and they'll say, back in the TOS, and they're like, what? And we know it as like the original series, but they have a different acronym for that.
Right, yes.
So I think it's hilarious.
It's good. It's enjoyable. You don't have to have been the biggest Trek fan to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But if you'll recognize some things and you'll enjoy some little traits here and there. So it's good. And I think Dan mentioned that the second season did get a little bit more risque, and I think it did.
Yeah.
Like, I think the first season I could have watched my kid. The second season I was like, oh, this is a little more grown up. But it was still great.
Yes. Oh man. So what else? Let's see. What else? There's tons of stuff announced I mean, of course, we can talk night and day about the MCU stuff. I'm sure everyone here has already read all the MCU stuff that's been announced. From things like the Phase 5. What's Phase 6? We've got some things like Fantastic Four finally being announced.
Hey, aren't we still watching Phase 5?
Phase 4, I think, is what just ended. So it just ended with whatever the last movie was.
Multiverse?
Yeah.
That was an ending to it?
No. Thor and Thor Love and Thunder ended it.
That was the ending to a phase?
Yeah. So Phase 4 was very weak. Does Wakanda ends Phase 4? Okay. So he's right. So Wakanda ends Phase 4.
So that's coming out next, right?
Yeah. So it's interesting. We've talked about it here on the show, in the past about like continuity and trying to the MCU's kind of got a problem with its, they built up to do the big Thanos thing, and then after that they kind of, blew their wad is the best way to put it with some of the bigger characters, and they've got a lot of like lesser characters left. Not saying Thor or but having to reestablish Captain America as Falcon, replacing Captain America. You're having to do all that all over again, and also some of these guys like Anthony Mackie's. This would be like his fifth movie or something like that. So budgets go up, right? You can't your agent is going to negotiate the fact that you're like, hey, I've been in how many Marvel movies, and I'm now the face. So every appearance gets more and more expensive.
Sure.
Right, so contractually, I mean,
that's
I can't.
What the multiverse and reboots are for, baby. Like,
right. So
you're out, new actor in, right?
But I mean, you know how it works, right? Trying to replace. I mean, we can replace Batman till the day is long, right? But the MCU, the MCU is the MCU.
Every 5 years, like clockwork, right?
Yeah, without fail, there's a new Batman, a new face of Batman. So, but I mean, so let's see here. I mean, I can kind of list them off here. So, of course, they showed the Black Panther trailer. Wakanda Forever, which is fantastic, and go check it out. I'm not going to play it on the show. It's definitely heart wrenching. What else? They announced Secret Wars and the Kang Dynasty, Avengers Kang Dynasty are the next Avenger movies that are going to be on their way.
I like the Kang.
Yeah. So Kang is what they're leading up to. The end of this phase and onward, we'll kind of touch base on that. We've announced Daredevil. Returns again. Daredevil Born Again will be back, and it will be Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio again in the roles as a Kingpin.
But wasn't he? Oh, he got away in Hawkeye. Spoiler.
In Hawkeye, right at the end of Hawkeye, he gets
disappeared.
Right. They showed Ironheart. I mean, they announced Ironheart, and then they showed her a bit in the Wakanda Forever.
That's the new Iron Man, but
it's Riri Williams is the character.
Sure. And so the new Daredevil is the old Daredevil, just new Marvel, more connected to the Marvel universe.
Right. So I mean, I guess that first story does take place within the MCU, but not. I don't know how they're going to play it. I don't know how much they're going to announce or bring in or whatever. So that's interesting. So Marvel Secret Invasion, is getting a series. So
Secret Invasion and Secret Wars.
Yeah, Secret Wars will be afterwards. Secret Invasion will be a show. It'll be a series on Disney Plus in 2023. And of course, we got She-Hulk. We got the trailer for She-Hulk, and that
fun.
So that looks fun. I want to watch that on the show here because this definitely looks.
I mean, if we're gonna get one notice, we may as well get them all.
Wow! Jeez, what the hell, man?
So the CG on this is still not looking the best, but I'm gonna enjoy it.
Rage.
You
I
do
just
revert
can't
back
expect.
to Gen form when you sleep.
Was the air horn really necessary?
For comedy, absolutely. This is a multi-year journey you're about to embark on.
Yes.
Yeah. Who's your best friend?
Nikki.
Spandex. Spandex is your best friend. Being a
It is,
Hulk
and
asks
it is
for balance.
100% better than the first trailer.
You have so much more to learn. Yes!
So I'm clearly nailing it at all these things.
If you want to go back to life as a lawyer, I respect that.
He doesn't mean that.
Fourth wall breaking, baby.
More and more eccentric superhumans are coming out of the woodwork. We're going to launch a division for them. And I want the She-Hulk to be the face of it.
Jennifer Waters. Namaste.
I have a serious conflict of interest. This man tried to kill my cousin, Bruce.
Yeah, that's quite all right.
Oh. People only care because I'm representing Emil Blonsky. I think they care because they're like, hey, that girl's great. Jen, do your thing. God, I really like this outfit. I'm not proud of this.
Miss Walters, we answer to a higher power. Our universe is on the edge of a precipice.
I am a lawyer. We do things by the book.
The Book of Ashanti.
No, the Book of American laws.
Whether you like it or not, you're now a superhero.
Let's do this. You know that friend you had in high school who was way cooler than you were, attractive, got all the attention from everyone? Hello.
I think I'm jealous. Is that what I'm feeling?
The CGI is a little weird.
Yeah, CGI is a little weird, man. It's a little weird.
Yeah, that's a good point there. Go Astronaut Go. It's possible that Tatiana is too good an actor for the CGI to keep up.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that could be it.
It's definitely budget holdback, right? Like they're not dumping the amount that they would dump at a full movie at it. So maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but I've got to stop in my head. I got to turn off the idea that like everything needs to be equal. I got to enjoy the content, how it comes out, right? Like I just gotta like, not every comic book isn't drawn by the best artist, but the story is good. And so as long as I can enjoy the story and enjoy the show, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
That's a really good attitude, Joe. I should approach that as well. That's a very, very good attitude.
It's just so much content, right? And if
100% of comics though is hating them.
Right.
So
but you hate by them, right? So you're like, oh God, I'm picking it up next week on Wednesday. You know, every
Chris Claremont has destroyed the X-Men. He's the worst.
No, Dan, and that was I loved Ms. Marvel was great. I enjoyed it a lot. But again, you don't have to deal with the CG of a character on screen all the time, so that's already kind of a big hurdle for them. And of course, if without the elephant in the room, I don't have a story pulled up because I didn't have one prep for this. But I mean, now that you mention it, is there's been a lot of backlash right now online with some of the studios that are doing the CG. There's been a little animosity saying that Marvel's demanding too much. They're demanding changes at the last minute. They're not paying what the studios aren't paying what they need to pay. They're demanding things done really quick, really fast. They're wanting the turnout to be. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to me that like this is the future we wanted, right? Like we demanded these shows and this constant wave of like CG and Marvel and Disney and all this kind of stuff. And it's interesting to me that Disney just doesn't have like 50 different the houses that are just doing all this CG for them, as opposed to going to like 2 or 3 of them and then making them work so much. So I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be a resolution to that in the long run. Disney doesn't like the press kind of jumping on that kind of stuff, but at the same time, people don't care. As long as you feed them their MCU, they're
strap it in. I don't care where it comes from.
Yeah.
It never ceases to amaze me that people will find something to complain about. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right. I mean, we're not fans of things if we don't have qualms with them, right? Like you can't be a fan or a fan community without having someone hate something on it, right? Like that's
desperately trying not to be that way anymore. But yes, you're right. You're right.
I wish it wasn't that way, but it is. Let's see what else. So yeah, that looks fun to me. It looks like a fun show, slice of life / bringing in some of the repercussions. If we're gonna make the MCU a living, breathing superhero embodied world, the idea that some of these superheroes need to be represented in law is fun, and there's always been that pull within Marvel. So Jennifer Walters and Matt Murdock and Howard the Duck are 3 of the big lawyers in the MCU, and Howard the Duck walking around,
no, totally.
So,
1 second, Joe. I need to do something real quick. I'll be right back. Keep it going.
Go for it. I will pull myself over here. Boom. But yeah, no, that kind of stuff is interesting to me. I sometimes some of my favorite comics. What's going on, Chance? My favorite comics in the Marvel universe have always been the slice of life stuff. Not always the everyday, the big cosmic events, things like She-Hulk and some comedy. Not that Howard the Duck, although that movie is, but that is technically the Marvel character. But Howard the Duck in the comic is very different. He's at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I think is what it is. No, Guardians of the Galaxy 1. He's at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 1. So you do get a cameo of him in there. So there you are.
I'm back, hopefully with a better connection. You were talking about bringing Marvel comics into the real world, and I just wanted to touch on Mary Marvel for a second, Joe.
Go for it.
I don't know who she is, but apparently she's going to my alma mater, and I want to talk about this for a second.
So Mary Marvel, so that would be DC. So that would be
So
Shazam family.
Yeah, so let me see if I can drop that in there and make it a little bit larger for everyone to see. So who is Mary Marvel? But because she's attending Vassar College, which if folks fans of the show would know, is I went to Vassar College along with all my friends. So who is Mary Marvel? Joe.
Who's Mary Marvel?
Yeah.
I mean, it really depends on continuity and whatnot. But she's one of the other orphans that was with Billy Batson, depending on which continuity you're looking at. But I mean, she was essentially, she could be, you could call her Billy Batson's sister or another girl in another family, and she's
Billy Batson is Shazam, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, all right. Okay, so
there you got it right there. So this is definitely the frame that you're looking for. So if you see all of those they're all family, right? They're all part of the orphanage or whatever, and they all live together in a foster family, and they're all given the power. So if you saw the Shazam movie, the one with what is it Levi?
Sure.
They show Mary Marvel and the rest of the Marvel family in there, and they're
that's at the end when they all were in.
Of course, San Diego Comic-Con did show the trailer for the new Shazam movie, and she's in there as well. So,
I mean, I would argue that was probably the best DC movie of all of the pantheon of DC films because I thoroughly enjoyed Shazam. So she's one of the members of that Shazam superpower family.
Right. So.
I don't deserve these powers, if I'm being honest. Like, what am I even contributing?
And the Shazam books or the Captain Marvel, for me call it, there's definitely been some issues with the name between Marvel and DC and who owns it and whatever. I think officially he now goes by Shazam. I mean, he's still Captain Marvel, but the title of the book is Shazam.
Right.
And I honestly don't know where we fall with the naming scheme is now, but they're old characters. These are
right.
Old,
they're like 1930s Superman characters.
Right, late 30s, early 40s, and they weren't part of DC. They were part of Fawcett Comics, and then DC kind of rolled it up, and they became part of.
You understand? I'm a pediatrician.
Does he not go by Captain Marvel at all anymore? See, again, I don't even remember where they landed with the legality of that anymore. He just goes by Shazam.
The fate of your world depends on it.
Naturalized, and because the powers come from like Greek gods or something, right? Roman gods.
Power of all the gods. This is very personal, Billy.
Look, I might not have as much experience as you because I'm not super old like you, but I've seen all of the Fast and the Furious movies, lady. It's all about family. Family! Guys, that was a signal. Introducing the star of our show.
So Mary Marvel would be the. She's the one in red.
I got you. All right.
Will not survive this.
But she's been in there. Sure, she is right there. So she's had her own lead. She's been part of like Justice League International and a couple of other. She would be kind of, without saying it, the equivalent of like Supergirl or Batgirl.
I got you. And so she had her own comic series at one point.
Yeah, she's had her own comic, or she's been part of a group where she's one of the main characters.
I'll dig it.
I just threw a truck at a dragon. I love my life.
That's exactly the way it should be. Fury of the gods. So, not yet. Spoilers.
Not yet. We're getting there.
Can I just show one thing? Because this is
that's
one of the few things I'm proud of. Right? Look at that. Look at that beautiful building right there. That beautiful building and that beautiful campus. It's what is it? Vassar College, the school I've been dreaming of getting into for literal years, and today is the first day of orientation.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So now I gotta be yeah, exactly. I was the president of that door. I think that's the library, though, Steve. But just for the record, go. I should not go. I'm pretty sure that's the library, which we never went to. So who cares, right? But yeah. So anyway, Vassar College is once again, comic book famous, I guess. Look at this guy, Adam, like Hamilton College. You know what? No trolls. Hit the ban button. He's been banned.
Yeah, so
excellent place to nap, Chance. Probably the best place on campus to go nap was the library.
oh yeah, I mean, who reads books nowadays? You just have Wikipedia to copy everything from, right?
When I was in college, we didn't have any of that stuff.
I know,
right?
I know.
Wikipedia was a Star Trek page. That's what it was.
Adam Driver's dad went to my Bible college back in the 70s.
No, it looked nothing like Lehman College. Lehman College is in the Bronx.
Join this. Is that what this is? Is this enjoyment? Okay.
What is this feeling I'm having?
Oh man! All right, so we'll go down the trek here, and we'll go down DC. And DC, there's lots of announcements. First off, they did it. What is it? DC. What is it? Family Super Pets. Is that what it's called? What's the name of that damn DC Family Pets movie that just came out? The kids want to go see it.
The video game looks terrible, for the record. But
DC League of Super Pets, right? So, that just came out, and it's actually getting good reviews. It's looking like a fun movie. It's again making fun of the DC universe.
Have our standards just lowered though? Like, do we just not?
Maybe. I see he's back from vacation. Oh yeah, definitely lots of vacation. I said he needed a recharge in the sarcophagus.
Yes,
he needed a charge in the sarcophagus. So he got a raw, kind of like going in there.
Well, the Bronx dirt was piled high upon me, right? I put on my Timbs and I'd lay there for 2 weeks, right after that.
Just intravenously chopped cheese.
Chopped cheese. Right. Last time I was in the Bronx, I went there with my brother and we totally had a chopped cheese.
There we go. So again, they announced also a Black Adam trailer. A full Black Adam trailer was announced at San Diego Comic-Con. So again, looking. Their future isn't as bright as the MCU, but I'm enjoying it. They also had another big announcement, which was a little bit post San Diego Comic-Con, which was that we're getting Ben Affleck back in the Batman role for Aquaman 2. Looks like they're doing some reshoots, so that's interesting. Someone somewhere had to convince him, right? Like this guy was on his honeymoon on a boat with Jennifer Lopez out in the middle of the ocean, sleeping. If anyone saw those pictures, and then the next thing, it's like he's Jason Momoa is tweeting out that he's back and taking a picture with him, and it's crazy, man. Like this guy's went from like rock bottom back to like AA to marry Jennifer Lopez back in the bat suit. Like it's weird. Like what
year is it?
I know. What year is it?
It just keeps coming back over and over. Goat Fleck is back.
Dude, yeah, no, honestly, I agree, man. He's one of my favorite Batmans. I think he played the role, and I'm hoping this kind of opens the door to more him as Batman. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not holding my breath. I'm enjoying the fact that he'll be back.
There you go.
In the role. And then sad news today. This happened today, actually, and this one is kind of a weird one. I don't know where they're going with this. So there's been a little shakeup at Warner Brothers. New head of entertainment at Warner Brothers Discovery, I guess is what it's called now, because they merged, and looks like they've been trimming the fat. So we've got this Batgirl movie that's completed. It's done
in the reels.
In the reels, they've done some testing and apparently didn't do very well in the testing, but that usually means that you don't abandon it. But it's not being released anymore. They're just shelving it.
So how many of these have they put out? Never a Batgirl, right? It's the Catgirl movies that don't do well.
Yeah, they've never done a Batgirl, and also, yeah, right. Yeah, they said it was 90% no more or less. Yeah, small bits of CG here and there needed to be done. 10% of the movie was left to do, but this was announced to be one of those with HBO Max being Warner Brothers' big hub now. Yep. This was announced as a straight to HBO Max movie. They were trying to kind of compete with the Hulu and the Netflix.
The constant churn on Disney of new things showing.
Yeah, and Disney Plus and all of that, trying to pump out movies direct to the audience through a streaming service. And so there's movies there. It's weird to invest that much and then not put it out there.
Yep.
it's not like it's gonna damage the brand anyway. Like it's Batgirl. So whether you like Batman or not is irrelevant. It's you know what I mean. Like it's a
brand's
safe,
already pretty damaged as well, right? So,
right. It's a safe bet. Like I don't understand why they do this, but it's weird to me.
Yeah, maybe yeah. I don't. Maybe it's just not in the right order. They want to put something else in there to get hype going. Oh, they're just trying to step away from the Flash movie because there was like controversy with that actor, right?
Yeah,
it's trouble.
But what's also interesting about that is
they can edit that though, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, maybe they can edit. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sad to see it go. The cast looked pretty cool. I don't know. It was directed.
Says favorite Batman movie. Lego Batman.
Lego Batman is a good Batman movie.
Is that your favorite Batman movie, Joe?
I have lots of. I mean, Batman movies in general are just depends on the mood. I will tell you, my least favorite are the Christian Bale ones for sure.
Of course, everyone loves them.
Yeah, everyone loves them, and I do not.
You don't.
They are not my brand of Batman for sure.
So it's the Michael Keaton Batman. That's the one that's your favorite.
Honestly, the Michael Keaton, the '89 Batman '89 and Batman Returns are my top feel for Batman. I like the artistic view of that Batman. The newest The Batman was really good. I like the feel of that Batman. Robert Pattinson's feel of that Batman was good.
That movie was a train wreck. It was like 10,000 hours.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Loved the story. Loved detecting. Loved the tone.
Anything the cops pointed out. Oh, I can't.
The cops didn't notice it, right? Like the
cops noticed everything.
They didn't notice anything. They were dumb as rocks in that.
The new Batman was good. No, it wasn't.
It was.
No, the first two acts were good. The third act, it all fell apart.
Least favorite Clooney? Yes, Clooney is terrible as Batman. Val Kilmer at one point in time, I would have said that I would have enjoyed him as Batman. Like he looked good in the suit. But I have watched Forever recently, and that movie is just as bad now. Now when I look back at it, like
oh wait, it is bad.
That movie's so bad. The line in that, there's lines in that movie like, "Are you trying to get under my cape, Doctor?" And he pulls out the I don't know, just the like he turns away from the camera and smiles when he gets hit on by Dr. Chase Meridian. Just all these like just terrible. There's a whole like air combat scene with Tommy Lee Jones and like the safe. There's like a bank safe, and it's just absolutely asinine. It's so bad. I
have to go back. I haven't seen those ones in a long time. Yeah, Chance, it was good, but 40 minutes too long. You're exactly that's.
I walked out of it. Yeah, I mean you're right. The Batman could have used some editing for sure. It was a little long, but did I wrong? I can't believe it. Yeah, yeah. Although I pop it in only because I really enjoy. Nowadays, I enjoy more Batman and Robin than Forever, only because I like Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, because he just chews up the scenery like nobody. And
he showed up and was like, "Oh, I know what we're doing." He just shows up and he's like, "Take two of these and call me in the morning." You know, like totally. Oh man, terrible film. So let's see, Jay Lopez. Sorry guys, not enough girl heroes. Hate me, but you can't get away from that. People only want to see the male heroes. There are so many female heroines. I mean.
I agree.
More today than there was 30 years ago. Right?
There are more now, and not only that, things like Miss Marvel have really shown. But I will say that. I mean, this is an argument that we could go into. Like, you almost can't have a solitary female hero without there being the male counterpart. For example, like everyone loves. Batgirl because of all the media she's been in with Batman. Everyone loves Supergirl because she's been with Superman. But I'm saying it's changing now. But back in the day, there used to not be as much. Cloak and Dagger were great. I mean, they were smaller characters in the Marvel in the books. I mean, as comic book readers, you knew these characters. You knew Wonder Woman as a solitary character and that sort of thing. But I 100% agree. I think we're getting better.
Kristen, you're right. Somehow Wonder Woman's only strong when she gets her heart broken. She like preoccupied with her heart all the time. That character.
Yeah, I mean that's how she's written, but that's not how it is in the comics, right? Like she's always strong. It's interesting that in the movies,
a TV show though, right? But that's
what's that?
Cloak and Dagger got a TV show, right? I think that went straight.
It did, but it didn't do very well. But yeah, they did get a show.
Agent Carter was a lot of fun. I mean, I thought WandaVision was great. Miss Marvel.
Yeah, but can we? I mean, we could talk about that till we're blue in the face. WandaVision was, I think, a character that they did a little dirty. I think
yes, after Doctor Strange, I now fully agree with you. They did that character very dirty. Yes.
Yeah, they did that character very dirty. I don't understand, like,
why did they build to all of that and then do the way they did? Birds of Prey was great. I thought it was very underrated as well. Chance, you and I are going to die on that hill together.
Yeah,
you won't be alone. I should say you won't be alone on that.
You won't be alone on that hill. No, I can agree with you there. Again, I think nowadays, I mean, what's interesting is we've had shows from, for example, the Arrowverse on DC that's had a lot of female representation and characters, and that's introduced a lot of female characters. But Marvel has, I feel like everyone likes to give Marvel a pass on this.
Yep.
Especially with the Disney Plus, now that we've got like Miss Marvel and a couple other shows with female representation. But the movies, they really waited. There was no reason to wait that long for a Black Widow movie, only to just like do it kind of dirty
and throw it out. Yeah.
And same thing with Captain Marvel, right? Captain Marvel came out really late into that phase, and they wanted to shoehorn this like superpower character when, you know, we're dealing with things like Thanos, and then like even in the final movie, she comes in late. Like, what was the writing there? Why couldn't she have been there in the front line fighting with them? Shows up late, you know. Yes, they give her a really powerful scene only to get like knocked away and then not show up again for the rest of the fight.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Again, they did have their wonderful scene with all the female characters showing up and like, oh, we're ready, and they're protecting Spider-Man, and that's a great scene. But again, that's kind of too little, too late. You know, at the end of a phase.
It felt like pandering, if we're all going to be honest with ourselves. Felt like
right. But again, I don't want to call it that because I think it was enjoyable.
And enjoyable, but also piled in there, yeah.
Piled in there, right.
Why not bring her out early? Yep. Kristen was his breach. So my mom says Storm, right? And one of the things that makes me sad about the Marvel Universe is X-Men, right? X-Men had representation everywhere.
The entire like creation was the purpose of representation, right? They were a whole.
It was my comic book series that I love the most of all of the Marvel verse, right? All of the old '90s Marvels. It was all about X-Men, X-Force, the young X-Men, or the new generation X-Men, or the X-Gen, whatever. The new ones were
Generation X back in the '90s.
Yeah, Generation X. All of those characters were my jam. And because of the weird agreements that Marvel has out there and the weird breakup of their universe, we just haven't seen those characters come in, like Storm, which is one of the like strongest characters in the Marvel universe, right? Storm is
right. So one of the big things without
New Mutants. Thank you, Chance. That's what I was looking for.
So spoiler alert, without spoiling, it's been long enough. I think it's been multiple weeks since Miss Marvel has been announced. Miss Marvel is essentially officially the first announced mutant, right? Like at the end of the show, post credit, we get a comment with the whole like there appears to be a mutation and you're like they're looking through her blood or whatever, and then they literally play the '90s X-Men riff in the music.
So like that's sort of connected. Interesting.
Yeah, and just yeah, I mean we you know we are live.
No, I know
we are live. But yeah, no, it's definitely one of those scenarios where Fox owned it. They now own it all, and they cannot bring it in. I just feel like also we've had 2 years of COVID, like 2 years of the whole COVID thing, and they could have been planning something. And now here was San Diego Comic-Con, and the announcements were still not enough mutants, like enough Marvel. Like you can't pump out one movie, like no introduction. You announced say Phase 5 and 6 or whatever, but neither one of those phases has any X-Men. So maybe they're trying to like milk it to the point where like they're going to run out of things to do for these two phases, and then it'll just be mutants and nothing but mutants for the next.
Yeah, and there's a lot of there's a lot of things I get specialization saying X-Men makes a better cartoon than a live action thing. I don't know. I think they can do it now with the CG they've got.
Well,
the powers.
Speculation. The funny thing is, and I think I've had a conversation with Chance on this in chat and a couple other people. Is X-Men was interesting because it came out in the early aughts, right? And we were really afraid of camp. We were afraid of the Batman and Robin and the Batman Forever and all of that. So we went dark, we went serious. We put them all in black leather. We took away the '90s iconic blue and yellow Jim Lee suits and the team gold and team blue and all of this. And because of that, we were afraid to show these characters in their colors, like, Nightcrawler being neon blue and have all these characters. So we stopped the color. Everything had to be muted and serious and grounded and explained. I mean, Wolverine, for the entirety of his, Hugh Jackman never once donned the Wolverine mask. It's like
that bright yellow, ridiculous
the
outfit.
bright yellow suit, the mask. I mean, give me one scene with him. I mean, even
he
Robert
did
Downey
not wear a
Jr.
shirt often enough for us.
Right, even Robert Downey Jr. running around as Iron Man was iconic in Iron Man. Yes, every so often, he'd turn off the mask, and all of a sudden he's
right.
Robert
We got
Downey
the
Jr.
face view. The
right, but stop being afraid of the characters and their colors. And I think with Disney, and now we've got bright characters and new creators, and we're not afraid of showing off the comic book feel of things. I think now is the perfect time to bring Fantastic Four and X-Men and all of the mutants back.
I think they can do it. I think they can do it, and they can build it over a phase, like a phase 5 or a phase 6. And Christian, I agree, right? It's extremely difficult to do the Dark Phoenix saga, but I think they can do it over 10 movies and a couple.
Well, I mean, Christian, you're hitting a nail on the head right there. I think we're running out of like giant world-ending events, right? So we're doing Secret Invasion and Secret Wars, and we're doing Kang the Conqueror and the multiverse and all that kind of stuff. Eventually, Disney and Marvel is going to have to, if they want to keep the Marvel train going, they're going to go into these big events. We're going to get a Phoenix Saga or a Dark Phoenix Saga, or the Phoenix in general might be the big, overwhelming arch baddie for a whole phase.
You introduce her early and then a whole phase later, right? It could be the big bad, which WandaVision should have been, but Wanda should have been, but whatever. That's not just it just has
I agree.
You're right. Yeah, if they do it as a saga, not just one movie, even with Apocalypse, right? The big blue guy, that movie.
Yeah, I mean Apocalypse,
great power.
He's a big character. I mean, he's a character. I mean, there's such great storytelling. I mean, a lot of people really only know Marvel through the media, like through live action and all that, but there's so many great stories, like the idea that Apocalypse has been around for a millennia. He's been around since humanity started. Like, he is the kind of one of the original mutants, and in general, like, he's had his machinations have created whole dynasties and stuff.
Free mutants, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, was it? There's a great comic where they talk about, like, the Bronze Age, right? Like, what happened? We went from like technology to the Dark Ages. Like, what happened? And they're talking to him, and he turns. And he's like, "Well, I happened. Like, the reason humanity didn't, move on from why there was a Dark Age was me. I caused the Dark Ages. Like, that's great. That's like, holy crap. Like, that's how cool is that to, like, show that." Yeah,
Kristen, you're on it, right? Stretch it out. Dark Phoenix, aliens, all of that actually live there. Do not show her. I mean, like, bring on the Morlocks and Storm, right? With the class distinctions that they created with those series.
I mean, you've already got Wakanda. I mean, we can really, like, if you want to branch it out and have like Storm and Aurora already coming from that, like, region and, like, be discovered as a mutant. Like, it's just so good. There's just
so much.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much meat on that X-Men bone. They just got to bring it in, right?
They gotta bring it in, and to see, a whole year, another 2 years of Comic-Con without any announcements or showing is, like, troubling. I'm like, does Marvel not know what to do, or are they really ramping up? Are they really gonna, like, show up with Marvel?
They don't know what to do. They've cashed all the checks, and they're like, what do we do, fellas? We're sitting on this mountain of money. What do we can do? And my mom, that last Doctor Strange movie sucked. Tell us how you really feel. They need to do stuff. That movie was a train wreck as well.
So again, speaking of comics in general, again, we'll touch base on this real quick. This
Arrowverse.
The Arrowverse is officially ending. The final season of The Flash will air in 2023, wrapping up it'll be a 13 episode season, and that's it. That's the end of the Arrowverse, which would have been Arrow, Flash. What is it?
Was that
here's what is it? The Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh, geez.
And Static Shock, and then Supergirl was all part of that, like, Arrowverse. They all had crossover episodes. And
wasn't Lightning too? Black Lightning? Was that?
Yeah, he was part of it. I mean, he wasn't at first, but then they realized they weren't making any money without crossing him over, and so they brought him in.
They brought him in for a second. All right, there we go. Stargirl, Batgirl, Supergirl. Yeah, so much stuff there. Not Static Shock. Not Static Shock Black Lightning? No? I thought they were. I thought the Arrow showed up in at least one episode.
I know. Yeah, technically Lucifer, and so was Constantine. I mean, there's either way. The idea is those shows, that universe is over and done with. Supergirl and Superman and Lois both kind of take place in a parallel Earth to the Arrowverse, but they had crossovers. They knew a way to cross over when they needed to.
Yeah.
But that said, this it's kind of a momentous occasion when it comes down to it to see this end. Well, everyone talks about the MCU and all of that. These shows like Arrow and Flash, not that they did it first, but they did crossovers in a way that we dreamed of. I mean, go back and watch some of those season crossover episodes with like Arrow and Flash and Supergirl and Black Lightning and you had the Atom and you had all these like characters showing up, and yes, they were lower budget, they weren't the MCU, but man, they're fun to see that kind of stuff. And as a kid, that would have blown my freaking mind, seeing all this media.
Blew your mind.
Yeah. Right. No, you're absolutely right. And it's complicated in comics, let alone on TV. But they did it. They pulled it off. The CW was really having a great time. And what was great is the CW and Warner Brothers in general kind of let them go wild. They were like, you want to do Stars and Stripes? You want to do random characters that, go ahead, do it. I mean, what does it matter? And they let them run wild with it. I mean, go watch some of those episodes of Legends of Tomorrow, and there are heroes and villains.
They did a Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like, how could you even do that, right?
Right, and they did, and it was fun. Like, it was actually like fun. It was a ham. It was, they hammed it up in a way, but it was fun.
We can't.
No, I did not confuse Black Lightning with Static Shock. I'm saying Black Lightning and Static Shock in general, both. Like,
I hope somebody clipped it, because we will burn Joe's DC butt for the rest of his life on that one.
Because it did feel more cohesive. The problem, of course, has always been that everyone always kind of rags on. Yeah, rags on the Arrowverse and all that because. Well, frankly, they're not Disney Plus where they get 8 high budget episodes. They get their yearly budget and they got to stretch it for 22 episodes, right? Mm-hmm. Go look at how many episodes are per season on Flash, and it's syndicated TV.
It's not 8 episodes of Moon Knight, right? It's like
it's 26 episodes, right? And every episode you gotta like
interrupted episodes where you have to plan your way around that stuff.
Yeah, the budget has to be
Green Arrow doing pull-ups and pulling the bow, like a lot of dark shots of him just pulling a bow, right?
Yeah. So I always will wonder what would have happened if these shows have been around with the Disney Plus era, of like HBO Max, and them kind of going back and making these shows and doing only 8 episodes, but giving them the same budget of a season and giving the Flash the effects and all of that a Disney Plus show would get.
Yeah, I don't know that. Maybe, yeah. DC should try something, right?
I mean, eventually they will. I'm not saying they won't.
Netflix might give them money now that Netflix doesn't have any. Oh, actually, HBO Max is where the DC stuff is, right?
Superman and Lois were in the same universe as Supergirl, and Supergirl, while technically did cross over with the Arrowverse, was technically not part of the Arrowverse. The way they would cross over, like at one point, Barry was able to cross over because he'd go so fast that he'd bust through dimensions, right? But then, like, that's how they wrote. Yeah, it's comic books. Supergirl was a CBS show originally, right? The season 1 was on CBS, and then eventually they brought it. It got canceled on CBS, and then it got brought into the CW. But the CW kind of had a problem because they were like, well, how do you have a character like Supergirl that's like world eventing, affects the whole world in a world where none of that stuff has been mentioned before. So how do you do it? Well, you have Flash, and Flash is kind of the crux. He's the key to all dimensional time-breaking bullshit. Like, you want to have a character that can break anything? It's the Flash. What did he do? Oh, he sneezed and like changed everything. What did you do, Barry?
Eventually, all the characters wind up doing that, right? Animated series too. Oh my! So many people have opinions on DC shows. This is amazing.
Oh, well, I mean, DC's either you love it or hate it.
To DC's credit, they've had a lot of shows, animated and
they've definitely crossed over. They've played a lot.
in hundreds of episodes.
They've played it a lot more loose with their properties, from animated to funny animation to movies to TV shows to etc. And Marvel really likes to play it safe since they were with Disney. So like, if it's the only weirdness we had was some of those shows on Hulu, like MODOK and all of those that came out, and they've all been axed. They've all killed those. They're like, none of those are out now, and everything has to be under the Disney Plus umbrella.
Yeah, MODOK wasn't very good either.
Yeah, but that was.
I like AIM and I like MODOK, but it wasn't very good.
Oh man, what else? Real quick. Oh yeah, real quick. I know we're already past the hour, but we're trying to catch up here. Last thing is, I hadn't watched this. So I want to watch this live on the show.
Oh, all right, let's do it.
They did yesterday. They released a new trailer for Andor.
All right, we're gonna close out on Star Wars, everybody.
To steal from the Empire? To just walk in like you belong? They're so proud of themselves. So fat and satisfied. They can't imagine that someone like me would ever get inside their house.
Cassian Andor. The Empire is choking us so slowly. We're starting not to notice. What I'm asking is this. Wouldn't you rather give it all to something real? I need all the heroes I can get.
For the greater good.
Call it what you will.
Let's call it war.
Ooh, I'm on board with Saw Gerrera.
Yes, Saw Gerrera.
Pockets of fermenting.
You're in my net. Are you a fish? Or are you a thief? You're slipping.
I'm not slipping. I've just been hiding for too long.
As long as everyone thinks I'm an irritation, there's a good chance they'll miss what I'm really doing.
What are you really doing?
This is what revolution looks like.
I'm tired of losing.
Let's see, on record. I'm excited for this. A minimal number of desert planets too. So like this is this is all new Disney.
Yeah, no, very little desert planets.
Not one shot, I feel like, of a sandy dune on any of those.
Oh man, Rogue One is on your backlog. Oh, Rio, go watch Rogue One. It is literally the best Star Wars movie. Like, we talk nothing but the
like rewatch backlog. How has that not been seen by you?
Go watch that. Go watch it.
Gotta watch that. That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's gonna. Yeah, Kristen says. So say what you will about Disney, but I love them for expanding the Star Wars universe. You know, I love them for the new stuff for sure. This looks like a lot of new stuff.
Yeah,
even though it has some of the.
Chris, if you haven't been following along, the narrative here on the show is I'm a fan of a lot of the stuff, even stuff when they do callbacks. Pedro, on the other hand, is not. He really tends to enjoy the Star Wars when it's new characters that haven't been beaten to death through media. Like, oh, do you remember this guy right here? Oh, let's make a whole series based on this one guy that you saw once. But now we're gonna get like the new introduction of characters. And again, Rogue One was a new creation, all new characters, all new cast, and they've never been mentioned in any way, shape, or form.
So good. Takes place in the
universe,
the best part,
and it makes the universe bigger, right? Like and that has been one thing that I agree, that sometimes when you've got this cast of characters and you keep using the same characters over and over again, it's like, how is this a giant universe when it's like Tatooine and like two other
it's like everything happens on my block. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't seen Obi-Wan. I still haven't seen it, right? Because it's not on my list. I'm not interested in that part of the Star Wars universe. For me, Obi-Wan's will always be that hermit who imparted his knowledge onto Luke, and that's that. I don't need any more of that. Rogue One has so many locations, and Tatooine was not one of them, which is it was what was it, the Jeddah? Jeddah was the name of the planet, the desert planet.
Yeah, Jeddah. Yeah. So T-Better is interesting. So if you've only seen the main ones, I mean, so again, if you've seen episode 1 through 9 or whatever, I mean all the mainline stories. When it comes down to things, my recommendation for things to watch Star Wars would definitely be Mandalorian. So Mandalorian season 1 and 2. I would also put go watch Star Wars Clone Wars, the animated show, and then go watch Rebels. And then after you watch Rebels, Rogue One would be the one that I would watch, and then Andor would be something I would watch. So yeah, but Rebels and Clone Wars and Rebels are some of the best stuff because it's all Dave Filoni, which has been pretty much what he's been the driving force for some of the good stories. He's the reason why Rogue One was so good. He's the reason why Mandalorian was so good. So his kind of drive on the characters and creating these new characters in the Star Wars universe, especially really focusing on the rebellion and the fighting the Empire, has been Dave Filoni's big push. And so the Bad Batch, I watched the Bad Batch as well. That's something else. Again, I don't know. There's not much. If you've already seen the main line, then it's hard to kind of suggest something that is, because the mainline people hate some of the mainline stuff. They don't like the new movies.
You only need 4, 5, 6, Rogue One, and The Mandalorian. That's it. That's all you need, everybody. You don't need any of the other Star Wars universe to enjoy the Star Wars universe.
Well, I mean, again, and also don't let anyone tell you what to enjoy, not to enjoy, right? Just go watch it.
I didn't say you can't enjoy it. You just need those 4.
Yeah, Timothy, go watch The Mandalorian at least. What was really nice about The Mandalorian was that you're thrown in with a character without spoiling anything. The best part that I really enjoyed about Mandalorian was the fact that here's this character that lives in a universe where we know everything about the universe. We know the Force. We know Jedi exist, and here's this character who is so blinded focused, right? He grew up in one culture where, I mean, when he gets introduced to a character that uses the Force, he's like, what is this? I don't know. And that makes it seem like, this is galaxy. We talk about a planet and we barely know what's going on the other side of the planet. Why would some bounty hunter, who works the Outer Rim, know anything to do with Jedi when he was probably born post or was around when the Jedi weren't?
He's also been subject to the Empire's propaganda, right?
Right.
All of that stuff would have been suppressed if there.
I mean, it only takes how many years does it take here in the U.S. to suppress all sorts of information? Could you imagine the entire?
It barely took the lifetime of Anakin Skywalker to refer to them as mythical, right?
Right, exactly. So that's what's fun.
It barely took his lifetime.
Why does the Star Wars have the internet? Oh God, could you imagine the propaganda on that? Oh man,
they probably do, but nobody believes it, right? Maybe we've all extended beyond the.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, it's the Mandalorian has been the closest stuff to original Western samurai movie. If you like any Kurosawa style movies and that kind of stuff, that's where to go.
No, and you had the
Lone Wolf and Cub style thing.
Lone Wolf and Cub, the bounty hunter blowing into town. It was great. It's great. All of the new stuff is the Mandalorian's great. I probably have to watch Obi-Wan at some point. But Andor looks fantastic, especially if they're going to play around with what does it mean to be a rebel, and where's that line between the rebellion and terrorism, right? Where is that? Ooh, where is
one person's terrorist and another person's freedom fighter, right?
Exactly right. Where is that sweet spot? How do we talk about this? And because it is a long time ago and far, far away. I'm excited for all this. Next week we should talk about games. Let's talk about video games again.
What video games? What are you talking about? What are you playing right now, by the way, before we leave?
What am I playing right now? I'm still playing Assassin's Creed. My brother and I got back into Payday 2 because we're looking for that one big heist, that big score. I'm jonesing for great co-op games. Where are the co-op games that I was promised? So that's what we've been playing. What about you?
I haven't picked up Multiverses. I was in the beta and I haven't sat down and actually downloaded and started playing again. So Multiverses just launched, which was DC's Smash Brothers, or Warner Brothers Smash Brothers platform fighters, they call it. Play. So that's kind of hitting. I'm going to sit down and play that. I'm halfway through Stray. I haven't picked it up in the past few days. What I have been playing though is, and just so that I can talk about it real quick, is so starting.
Resolution is overrated. Just finished Stray. I really want to play Stray, but it's a PlayStation only game, right?
Well, it's not. It's console exclusive for now. Like it's timed exclusive, so it'll eventually come out for other systems.
Kristen says Power Washer Simulator is multiplayer. I didn't realize that. I should.
Yeah, so 2 players can hop on and 2 players just clean stuff off.
I've been delaying. I've been waiting for a Zen moment that I in need of a Zen moment.
Good job, P. Pandora. You have to return the device. So here's a real quick. And just to touch on what I've been playing, I finally sat down and picked up a bundle on Oculus and picked up a. I've been wanting to sit down and play Moss.
Okay.
So it's called Moss, and it's a little platformer. You're a little mouse, and it's kind of like a third-person Zelda adventure game kind of thing. Okay. But it's a VR. It's in the Oculus store, and it's also on the PS store for PSVR. Fantastic game. I never sat down and played it. They just announced that they just released a sequel on it, and it's great. You know, it's an isometric view. You're kind of like this omnipotent being, right? And the mouse can see you, and so you're running around. You can like duck around and look around corners. It's really neat. Go check out some of the gameplay. But the sequel just got released. It's funny to announce because there's not really like PSVR 1 is dead. Like it's moved on. People have moved on. They're waiting on the next PlayStation VR. And but then here's this game that only came out for VR for PC and the Oculus. So but it just got released and it's real fun. So I'm playing through that right now.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So Brandon Brown says the next big simulator will be janitor simulator where you pick up trash, sweep, mop up bathrooms. Wasn't there a janitor simulator where you had to clean up after a first person, like to clean up the Doom set? Like after someone came through and killed all the demons, your job was to clean up after the carnage. So you had to clean up the blood and the guts and all.
Yeah, it's a viscera cleanup detail.
Yeah, viscera cleanup detail. So Brandon, that's already been made. Sorry,
it's already been made. It's already been made. There we go.
Yeah, so
your job is to come in after the Doom guy and clean that up. So
tons of stuff you got. I mean, now they just have to have power. There, he goes a little power washer.
You're picking up like you can just like bodies. As an employee, it must be pretty clean.
Yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, all the simulators are there, but why not, right? Like some of them are rather enjoyable. The mop is comically hilarious. A little bit of puzzle games as well.
You're having to restock the medikits. I didn't even know about this one. This one's great.
I told you, yeah, no, it's great. It's good. Rio says, "Oh, Stray is on Steam." That's awesome. I need to figure out how to play on Steam again.
Yes,
that's what I should do. Playing Ken Griffey Jr.'s Major League Baseball. Look at you playing some baseball roles. I knew you're the baseball fan, so good for you. Making me nostalgic for actually making trades at the trade deadline.
Oh God.
Baseball. I love it.
All right, everyone. Like, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for joining us on Tuesday. Well, let's give encouragement to Pedro to be here next week.
I guess make the appropriate sacrifices, everyone.
Yeah, make the appropriate sacrifices.
I'll post up my PayPal later.
Gotta get that Cash App, baby. That Cash App.
Cash App. Thanks, everybody, for jumping on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much
for being patient.
I always enjoy the conversations. Yeah, Steam Deck for the win. Yeah, go. He's already played it. I got him hooked on the Steam Deck at PAX, and I think that might be the way to go. Stray does work on it, so.
It really does. I should.
All right, everyone. Take care. Have a good week. Be kind. Another episode in the can.
Do I get to say it? Episode 183 in the can? Do I get to say it this time?
You get to say it. 183 in the can.
In the can.